Okay. Uh, we are live, and I couldn't be more jazzed. Are you, are you ready to get absolutely nuts, Patrice?
I'm ready. Always, Craig. You know that.
I do. Okay. Well, without further ado, on today's episode of Playing Small is Cancelled, we have a truly exclusive treat. She's a multifaceted powerhouse and a best-selling author, sought-after media personality, a renowned transformational speaker, and the host of an award-winning podcast with over 16 million downloads. No big deal. As the founder of the Institute for Redefining Wealth, she's built a thriving international community, empowering individuals to transform their mindset from one of lack and scarcity to a life of abundance and prosperity, which I deeply admire. Her game-changing 6 pillars of wealth framework provides her purpose-driven international community with a dynamic roadmap for powerful personal, spiritual, and financial success, just to name a few. She's just a juggernaut in all facets of life and a terrific human being. Please welcome the dynamic, visionary, purpose-driven, brilliant, and abundant Patrice Washington. How you doing, Patrice?
Oh, that was good. I need to take you everywhere. That was so good. Thank you for having me, Craig.
My pleasure. I was really excited for today's episode. I say that all the time, but me and you got together a couple times already. And if I'm being honest, I feel the magic every single time that we do. And a lot of my community members have said the same. So couldn't be more pumped today. And let's dive in. Let's get absolutely crazy. Are you ready for me?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Little icebreaker with you to kick off. I saw you talking about this and I just thought it was the most profound concept. I wanted to dive right in. What exactly is a soul detox?
Oh, that is so good. A soul detox is actually a process that I take myself through every year for my birthday. And it just so happens my birthday is right before yours. I know you're April, I'm March. And, I feel like we all have a personal new year, which is typically around when your birthday comes, you start to examine just what the heck have I been doing for the last year? I know I talked about some things that I wanted, things I desired, maybe a vision that I had. And almost 365 days have gone by, and I want to see where am I really. And every time I have done this exercise of reflecting on how far I've come, it's also illuminated for me where I have allowed extra baggage and weight to slow down the vision, to slow down some things that I really wanted to see come to fruition. And so a soul detox is similar to a physical detox. I know you're a marathon runner. You've probably, heard people talking about, if you haven't done one yourself, a physical detox. And whenever you need to physically detox, you feel sluggish. You feel like you're carrying extra weight, maybe there's a little brain fog. There's different symptoms that your body is illuminating for you that says, hey, I need to eliminate some waste. I need to detox some things. I believe the same thing happens with our purpose when we're in need of a soul detox. When we start to carry around the weight of other people's expectations, maybe some ego-driven ideas and thoughts that no longer serve us. Maybe we feel confused about what our next steps are, and we want to move with more power and more clarity. Those are signs that you need a soul detox. And so for the last 3 years, leading up to my birthday, I go through the process I take myself through with my community. So now I invite people to this 3-hour training where we do it together the day before my birthday. And it has been a wonderful, wonderful journey because we talk about the ideas, thoughts, limiting beliefs, practices, rituals, anything that is not serving who we say we want to be for this next year. We go through it and we look for not just self-awareness, but soul awareness. Self-awareness is kind of that awareness that oh, I don't like this thing. Soul awareness is getting very, very clear though about what your soul is calling you to. So what you have to remove in order to move forward.
This is off the charts. And I'm just thinking if you put poison into your body, right? Or if you have something that wasn't cooked right, if you get salmonella, it destroys your insides, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to detox a little bit after that. The same is true for things that you bring into your soul, right? Into your life. And if we don't let go of those things, we're going to be operating from that vibration, which can actually be hindering our performance. So to create the time and space to do a detox, to make sure that we're conscious of letting go, which is not only no longer aligned with us, but might actually be holding us back, is
Yeah.
actually a portal to expansion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to pave the way. You literally have to clear things out so that that flow can come back. And a lot of us don't even realize how impacted we are, like literally and figuratively, but like impacted. Like, so we keep taking on these external ideas and thoughts, opinions. We're looking to the left and right of what other people are doing, how other people are showing up. And we do everything but ask ourselves, when it's all said and done, what do I really want? When I look back over my life, what do I want to be able to say I've experienced? How do I want to say that I lived? Who do I want to say I was in partnership? How do I want to say that I lived my life? And most of us can't answer the question because we don't even take the time, Craig, to put time aside to deeply ask those questions and to put ourselves in spaces and places where that type of language is common, because I believe that's the thing. It's the proximity to the language. You know, when I first met you and I'm hearing you talk and we're hearing each other talk, I'm like, oh my gosh, we sound the same. You know, like, wow, we use a lot of the same language, but we also have put ourselves in places where taking time to examine these things are normal. It's a normal process. It's a part of the process of growth and evolution. And it's not how I was raised. I wasn't raised to think that you could take time to ask yourself deep, questions and to reflect. It's a practice that's been built by being around people like you.
I know with certainty, we might scare some people right now, but I know with certainty that this is not the first time I've met you. And when I say, I mean like this carnation, like our
Mhm.
souls have
Mhm.
definitely been connected before. I couldn't agree more in regards to the alignment, and we just speak the same language. It's beautiful. Let's go deep today. I
Mhm.
know a lot of the stuff you talk about is wealth, and we're going to hit that, of course. But another thing that we talk about is being born on purpose, with
Mhm.
purpose. Just to be clear, to set the record straight, is everybody born on purpose with purpose?
Yes, I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that each of us is born with purpose, on purpose, for such a time as this. There is no coincidence that we are all here. Sometimes I hear people say, oh, I wish I would have been born at a different time, or I wish it's like, and maybe you were, right? Maybe your soul has been here before, but right now, in this body, in this iteration of yourself, you were born with purpose, on purpose, for purpose. There is work that your soul came to work out. There are things that you came here to explore. And I want to be clear, Craig, that a lot of times when people hear, oh, you're born with purpose, you were born for purpose, people automatically get to thinking that that means everyone should be an entrepreneur. I don't believe that everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. I believe that everyone needs to be aware of the gifts and skills and talents that they bring to the world. And many of us don't even acknowledge those gifts, those skills, those talents, some of the things we got freely, right? At birth. That's why I say we were born on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. We got it at birth. But because we start looking around and trying to compare what we got as a gift to other people's gifting, we dismiss and diminish what we have. And then we, put through life thinking that everyone else has some magic, pill or magic bullet that we don't have. And it's not true. We were all born with the thing. I have been a talker, Craig, my entire life. No one had to teach me. As a matter of fact, that is the thing that was most attacked and weaponized when I was a kid. And a lot of us, if we think about it, sometimes the reason we don't believe that the gift that we have is truly purposeful is because it was not understood by maybe people we were around when we were younger. In my case, I was always told I talk too much. I talk too much. I talk too much. And Craig, now I get invited to talk all day, every day. I get paid to talk on stages, on television, on the podcast, everywhere. Like it was always my thing. The thing is, do you want to take the time to embrace it, not find it? You don't have to find it because it's already in you. Do you take the time to embrace it? And then do you take the time to cultivate it so you can take it further? That's the thing. But
Got
yeah,
it.
I believe we were all born with it.
Beautiful. Okay, so two questions. Are our gifts ours, or they were given to us and we're the managers of them?
Oh, that's so good. I believe we're the managers of them. No one's ever asked me that, but as you put it that way, I believe that we're the managers of them, because this is what I say. A lot of people talk about passion, Craig, and they'll say, "Oh, follow your passion and the money will come." And I've said for years now, passion is beautiful. I'm very passionate about what I do, but I had to evolve to become passionate about what I do, right? Because passion is the energy, the excitement. You love it so much, you'll do that thing and not even think about time. And that's for you, though. That's to make sure that you stay locked in. But purpose is, how do you take those gifts and use them to be a blessing to other people? And so, based on your question, I feel like I am a steward of the gifts that I was given. And my purpose is to use those gifts to be a blessing to others. So I'm just here to hold them for the season that I get to do that.
Could not agree more. And then, so my second question was, it sounds like sharing our gifts that we're the managers of with the world, our own unique ones, is a must. Is that right?
I believe that when we don't, it haunts us.
Mm.
I believe that when we don't allow ourselves to truly use our gifts openly, freely, as often as we can, I think it haunts us in a few different ways. I think that it keeps us in a perpetual state of confusion, because we're always looking but never finding. We're always chasing the next thing. Is this the thing? Is this the thing? But if it's not really connected to our gifting, we can find ourselves just wasting a lot of time, energy, money, doing all of the things, climbing the ladder that leads to no fulfillment for us, because we're not operating in any type of gift, right? And I think that it never goes away. I love, I grew up churchy. And so back in the day at church, I used to hear, you can't quit a calling. You can't quit a calling. When something is calling you, whether you answer or not, it doesn't stop the calling. It's that constant, pulling you forward towards it. And most of us will ignore it. We will keep ignoring it in favor of what seems more practical, what seems more acceptable, what seems like society will validate that and applaud. And in my community, I serve so many high achieving women who have been so applauded for all of the accolades and the career success and the degrees and the certification, and all of that is beautiful. But if it does not align with your natural gifts, it does become very frustrating. It becomes very unfulfilling. And there's that constant void that's created. And that's actually how I got into, financial wellness conversations. It was really because I was coaching women who clearly had this void, Craig, and they thought that buying shoes and purses and another house and another car and another this and another that was going to fill the void. And really it just came down to, you're not leveraging your soul to do what you came here to do. You're not connecting, right, with your soul to see, what am I supposed to be doing? Because that's why people can, and I'm all about redefining wealth. They can make less money and be happier when it is aligned with their natural gifts, and they get the fulfillment from the joy. The fulfillment comes in the people, in the service. And when you see the thing that you created or participated in or had some type of contribution to being a blessing, that is fulfilling. When you get to do something that energizes you and it's a blessing to others, that is fulfilling. It's game changing. And when you don't, it feels like suffering.
That is the nugget of 2025 thus far. Leveraging your soul. And look, I speak from experience. I used to be on that path, a lot less consciousness, and thinking that all these things would generate happiness or fulfillment, only to realize that anything external can only be a temporary spark of life. But anything that has to do with the soul is where it's at in regards to creating, or as you might say, unlocking fulfillment. So anything that has to do with what makes you unique is a good way to begin to unlock fulfillment, or at least be on the path. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll put you on the path. See, a lot of us get caught up in that cycle of, oh, I'm so confused. I need clarity. I don't know what to do next. And right. When you are really tapped in and you are leveraging what your soul says, the next best step is always present. Because the next best step is not about best practices. It's not about what a guru says. It's not about listening to another 100 hours of YouTube videos and reading another 10,000 books. It is literally what feels good and like the highest and next best thing for me to do. And I trust, because I feel it, I'm going to go in that direction, and I will be met there with the next connection, the next resource, the next relationship, whatever it is, I will be met there. But I tell my community, I go live in the Redefining Wealth app every day. And just maybe a day or two ago, I told them, you go first. I made them put it in the chat. You're waiting for all these other things to come and give you clarity. No, the clarity comes from within. Clarity comes in the doing. Clarity comes in the practicing. So actually, you go first, and then you watch life conspire to meet you there, right? With the next best step. You don't have to fight and force and manipulate your way there. You literally can flow and float to the next thing. And I'm not saying that you don't work, but it's about, what do you work on? Because a lot of us confuse busyness for purposeful productivity. We don't want to be busy.
Last night I was at the Kabbalah Center. I love the wisdom and so forth. And we were talking about something that reminds me of what you just said, and that is that there is no source outside of you. The well is within.
Oh,
yeah.
The well is within. You know, I was sharing that in the app the other day. I was sharing that sometimes people get intimidated to share things because they don't want it to be stolen. And they're like, well, people are going to say my quote. It's like, well, the quote was never for you. Right? The quote was never for you. The quote was always for the people.
100%.
And I said, you know, people can take things, Craig. They can use my quotes and use my words. And especially if they use it to be a blessing to others, then so be it. That's why it came out of me, was to be a blessing for everyone, not just for me. I said, but my well is deep. My well is deep. Like, I believe so much in my practices, in my prayer, in my meditation, in my journaling, in my looking within, in my looking up, that every day new things are being downloaded, but they're not downloaded just for me. I'm supposed to use that talking that I got in trouble for to impart that to others. So I love the well within. And I also want us to know our well is deep. Like, you're like, ooh. And if you just keep focusing, you know, and doing your practices, that's such a beautiful thing to think about, because what it says is, if I'm here with purpose, on purpose, for purpose, I can put a demand on my creativity at any time, that, you know, my spirit like call forth whatever's next for me. I can put a demand on that. Like, okay, I'm here on purpose. Let's go. What feels good now? Let me go in that direction.
That's it. My well is deep.
My well is deep.
My well is within. Beautiful. A big part of your brand is obviously wealth, redefining wealth and so forth. I'm curious, for you, how has your definition of wealth evolved over the years?
Well, redefining wealth was born out of me losing everything in the recession in 2007, 2008. I took a fall down the stairs while I was 20 weeks pregnant, and it sent me into preterm labor. And when I got to the hospital, Craig, they literally said, hey, sorry, the baby's coming any minute. There's nothing that we can do. And what was supposed to be a 10, any minute now, ended up with me being in the hospital for 10 weeks waiting to have my daughter. And during that time, I was a real estate and mortgage broker. I had 16 loan officers and real estate agents. I was based in Manhattan Beach, California. Craig, I was making so much money, and I was 25 years old, and you could not tell me nothing. You could say it that way. You can't even use proper grammar. So you couldn't tell me nothing, right? And I thought it would go on forever. But as I was in the hospital on bed rest, the banks that I worked with were closing down left and right. That was the beginning of the recession rearing its head. And so I went from a 7-figure business to scraping up change, literally within a year and a half. Laid off my entire team. I had racked up $400,000 in medical debt between my daughter's NICU stay and my 10-week stay. I had 13 pieces between my former husband and I. We had 13 pieces of investment property. We were foreclosing and short selling and doing all the things we could do. It was a nightmare. And it wasn't until I was at that, I call it come to Jesus moment. I'm sure you've heard this term, where you just have to have a moment of real awakening and ugly crying, where I was ugly crying in the bathroom, asking God, why me? I've been a good person. I treat people well. I operate in integrity. Like, why would you be bothering me with all these things? And why would you wait? I've lived such a good life, and now I have this baby to take care of. And I have her living in this teeny tiny apartment. And, I didn't have car insurance. I'm riding dirty, Craig. It was crazy, riding dirty in Louisiana. And still small voice said, get your Bible. And I ended up on this scripture. It was Proverbs 17:16. And it said, what good is money in the hands of a fool if they have no desire to seek wisdom? Beautiful. What good is money in the hands of a fool? And Craig, that started to change everything. I was like, well, I'm smart. I went to the University of Southern California. I graduated with honors. I passed my broker's exam the first try. Like, I'm smart. What they taught me was, no, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. You have a lot of information. You don't know how to apply it. We think because we know the words, we understand the work. So that was one of the first things I learned. Oh, I understand all these words, but it's not until you can put it into practice, you understand the work that it really is valuable to you. And then it also encouraged me to look up wealth. And that's where I learned. It was 2009, March 9th, 2009. I'll never forget. That was the day that I learned that wealth was not just money and material possessions. The original definition of wealth was the condition of well-being and happiness. And that started to change everything. Even though I was at one of my lowest points in life financially at that time, fighting off eviction notices and all the things, I started to look at the other parts of my life and say, what if I could just be well or happy with where I am now? And I started to put all these practices, rituals, mindsets, was reading all these books and taking in all this information. And now I call them the 6 pillars of wealth. But by pillar, I started to change everything. And it wasn't by looking at my budget or credit reports every day, Craig. It was by how I was living my life on a daily basis. And within 4 years of me starting this practice, within 3 years of me starting this practice, I wrote my first book. And by the time my second book was published, I was invited to the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I became the personal finance voice there for 4 years, TV and radio and Dr. Oz and Cosmopolitan and New York Post and it did not come from being obsessed with budgets and credit reports. Now, do I think those things have a place? Obviously they do, but it wasn't the end all be all. And it's not what I teach now. I teach about making sure that you're fully clear about where you stand in these pillars, because it takes the pillars to protect the vision. If you have a vision and the rest of your life is not set up to support it, you leave the vision vulnerable.
Unbelievable. So many things to unpack. Another thing that you talk about is stop undermining the vision.
Oh, we do so much to undermine our own vision.
Why?
Yes, stop undermining the vision. So at Redefining Wealth, how we have evolved, and it's been 7.5 years now of the Redefining Wealth podcast, over 400 episodes, 20 million downloads now. And to see the evolution of it, it has become to understand that the pillars are not about busy work. The pillars are literally the path to the vision. When you say you desire something for your life, albeit a certain financial goal or a certain career or whatever your vision is, which our visions are always evolving, and that's fine. But whenever you say you have a vision, you have to look at these other pillars. So real quick, the pillars fit. It's about becoming your best self mentally and physically. Are you physically prepared for what you say you want? Are you mentally prepared to deal with what comes with what you say you want, because sometimes people are praying for success. They don't have the mental capacity to sustain. People pillar. How are you showing up personally and professionally? There's always someone watching you who has the power to bless you, but how are they watching you show up? Space pillar is about setting up your life to support you. It should feel good and represent what you desire. Faith pillar, believing in something greater. I don't care what you say you believe in. Do you make time to actually practice it? Work pillar is about living your life's purpose, because when you are not participating in purposeful activities, you are just doing busy work, and that creates a void and leads to burnout. And then the money pillar is all about attracting the abundance you desire. Now, if you do not set up specific goals in these pillars, you can say, oh, I want to make $1 million all day. You can say it, but are you mentally and physically prepared for that? For the way that you're seeing that come to fruition? Or are you saying one thing and is your whole life reflecting something completely different? This is how we undermine the vision. We say we want one thing, and everything about our calendars, our days, our rituals, our routines, our language is completely different than what we say we want. That's undermining.
This is so big, because even like I've been getting asked a lot, like, who do I look for when it comes to one-on-one students or clients? Obviously, we want to help everybody, but that's why we have group stuff and communities. But the people, when it comes to one-on-one, you really want someone with an absolute desire, right? And what I notice is that a lot of people want to go somewhere, but their level of desire compared to where they want to go are like two different entities, right? And it's like, hold on a second, this isn't really connected to what we do here. I don't want to put my signature on that. Like, you have to match the desire with the vision. It's got to be an energetic match.
Yes. You know why I believe a lot of times the desire does not match? It doesn't match because we're not being honest yet. I think we have to learn to be honest about interest versus commitment. Sometimes we're interested in the idea of a thing, but we do not have the commitment down yet. No. And it's okay to say, I'm just not committed yet. People think that they're lying to you when they're filling out that coaching application or they're getting on those calls. What they think they're doing is lying to you, but what they're really doing is lying to themselves. Mm-hmm. And so when we lie to ourselves and we believe that we're more ready for something than we actually are, or that we have a greater desire for something than we actually do, we waste a lot of time, our time and other people's time. We waste a lot of money and we waste a lot of energy when we really could take all of that, the time, the money, the energy, and redirect it towards something that we are ready for and committed to. And it's okay to say, I'm going to get there, but right now, what I'm most committed to is X, as opposed to pretending that you're committed to Y, Z. You're not. You're just not, because commitment would make the difference. Commitment would make you clear your calendar. Commitment will make you get resourceful and find the funds to do what you say you want to do. Commitment would make you have some uncomfortable conversations because you need to get that over with so you can keep moving forward with what you need. Commitment brings a whole nother beast out of you. Interest will keep you going in circles, thinking that you're doing something and you're not.
That's so beautiful. Specifically, something that you said really spoke to me about. When someone says they don't have the money to invest or do what they want to do, it's because they're only interested. They're not committed. Because if they were committed, they would find a way. Let's be honest.
Every time. Because when we decide, I really do believe the whole universe conspires to support us. But most of us undermine the vision by fighting for our limitations. And we feed into the scarcity mentality. One of the things that I talk about with vision was something that came to me in a download one day when I was meditating, Craig, and it was these layers to vision. And what I realized is when people are not willing to get resourceful for what they believe they're committed in, they're too focused on the physiological side of vision, which is just, what can I see? Literally, what do I see out there? What's on the news? What's in my bank account? What's at my house? Like, what can I see with my physical eyes? Nothing great has ever really been created from physiological vision. It is important because it gives you a starting place. It gives you a reference point. But true vision is creative. It's creative vision that brings things to forth. It's the greatest faculty you could have, which is imagination. It takes seeing something. You got to see it before you see it, right? With your eyes. And if you want to change your physiological vision, what comes first is the creative vision. But that's the thing that puts a demand on puts a demand on us to get resourceful. So we can't make decisions just from what do I see around me. If that were the case, we would all be so, I mean, I'm not consumed with the news cycle right now. I'll be radically honest with you. I am not like watching news all day, every day. When I was in the hospital, before my daughter was born, in the hospital for 10 weeks, I asked them to take the TV off the wall because I didn't want to keep watching the banks that I work with close down. Because what would that do? It would get me stuck in physiological vision. And then I would be here panicked about what's going on outside of my control, as opposed to what I had: prayers, journals, singing to my daughter off tune in my stomach. I was doing all the things. I was controlling my creative vision. And I have to say, my daughter is 17 now. I was telling you before we started, going live, that she's graduating from high school this year. And just the other day, I found the red leather journal that I was writing about her in when I was in the hospital in 2007. And I was reading to her what I said. And Craig, that girl is everything that I wrote about and more in 2007. Why? Because I didn't feed in to the physiological vision of what was going on, like what I could see, what the doctors were saying. Oh, she might have developmental delays. She'll have this, she'll have that, she has a 3.9 GPA and is getting an athletic scholarship to college.
Phenom.
Yeah, very talented skateboarder, basketball player, flag football player, photographer, film director, has gotten awards for all types of things. And it's all her doing. It's all because she wants to. But I say that to say how many of us undermine the vision, right? And we can't get committed because our vision is so locked in on just what we could see, as opposed to being all the way dialed into our desires, because that's what raises our energy and our vibration towards the thing. It's the creative vision that we need to tap into.
Unbelievable. We definitely were connected in a previous lifetime. I love everything that you're saying. One thing I wanted to hit on also before we hop today is money.
Yeah.
You know what money really is, but most people don't. They put it on this pedestal. It's this thing that has control over them. What would be a nugget that maybe you can share to break down the energy of money for someone that might be struggling with their current relationship with it, to maybe be able to create it a little bit more effortlessly?
That's a good question. To me, money is literally currency. It comes and goes. There's ebbs and flows, and it's just about leveraging it as a tool to continue to create the vision that you say you see for yourself. Like it's literally just energy. It comes and goes, and it's not supposed to be hoarded. It's not supposed to just stay here. It's supposed to stay cyclical and stay flowing and stay in currency. I think of it like a river, right? Like the current, just it's flowing. It's just flowing, and it just floats you to your next thing. Now, I do believe you have to have a respect for it. There's a respect that comes with it. There's an acknowledgement. Something that I teach for fun, even when I speak at like high schools and, with younger people, I start to teach them that it's not even about the denomination of money. It's about the respect and the discipline. So I don't care where I am, Craig. I could be dressed up in a ball gown. You could say, hey, let's go to the Met and meet me in NYC. And I'm like, I'm coming, Craig. I got my ball gown. I'm ready. And if there is $1 on the ground, I will, in my beautiful ball gown, politely bend down and pick it up, because I see it as the universe just sharing with me, like, hey, money is all around. But are you willing to look crazy? Are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to even see that money is all around you? It's not about the denomination. It's about the respect and the discipline and the awareness that it truly is all around at all times, no matter what else is going on in the world. It's always available.
That's right. And anytime you have that scarcity, that, oh, if I invest here, if I spend it here, then it won't come back there, you're cutting off the flow because
You cut off the flow.
you're supposed to breathe in, breathe out. But the moment you hold on to it like that, it's like you choke on it.
You know what I do when I make big investments, like in the business, or if I invest in like a coach or program or anything, I bless it from the beginning, because I have no scarcity that any tool or coach or resource that I use is the end all be all. I believe that I'm giving God something to bless by participating in taking the next step towards the vision. And right now, if this is the best next step, I'm going in that direction. And guess what? I'm going to learn new things about myself. I'm going to create new perspective, create new relationships, get access to new resources. Sometimes I've invested in things and it wasn't even for the outcome that they promised. It was the relationships that I got to build in that mastermind that are now lifetime friends. It was one tool that ended up saving me thousands of dollars a year, for several years. There's always so much more. And this is back to soul detox. And for anyone who's watching, I am doing another soul detox on March 14th. So please join me there, patricewashington.com/soul detox. And it's totally free. But Craig, it is about literally continuing to just say, okay, I'm listening to my soul, and my soul says, go in this direction. There is, I believe, I know you've heard success loves speed. I really believe that the success that I've had in my life over and over again has just come from trusting myself to follow my soul. Every time I try to hold back and do it like so and so, or I restrict things out of fear, nothing beautiful comes from that. I have not really experienced personally any blessings from that. It really just adds to suffering. Sometimes we prolong our own suffering thinking that we're helping and we're actually hurting. So yeah, it's following your soul. That's huge.
That's just the energy behind it. I like how you say, bless it.
Bless it. I bless it.
Yeah. Anytime we're like, oh, we're a little resistant, I don't want to let go of this, you're immediately subconsciously thinking that's because you don't believe that it's going to continue flowing. In fact, I would even encourage people to start, whether it's donating or tithing or giving for the right reasons, in an effort to bring in more. Not the other way. Not wait till you have more to give. Actually give to get.
Yeah, no, that's a big one. I think that also undermines the vision, is this constant stalling and waiting, and when this happens, then that. You know what ends up happening? More things that distract you from life's goodness. Like the only thing that happens is you wait, you stall, you procrastinate, and then it feels like, and then this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing, when really, I don't know. I just feel like the momentum comes from taking the next best step. That's where the energy is. That's where the momentum is. And bless and release things. Even when you pay a bill, you can write on the envelope and say, I'm grateful for the lights that you provided for the last 30 days. It's my honor to pay this bill. Not it's the first again, not that type of energy. You want to like really attach a positive, genuine, cheerful energy. You say you want to be a cheerful giver. I want to be a cheerful payer. I want to be cheerful with anything related to my money.
Just to put a pin in that, I think what people don't understand, I encouraged you to consider, is that the blessing is in the giving.
The blessing is in it. Yep. Giving is a wealthy habit. I have that in my first book. Giving is a wealthy habit. And you don't have to wait until you think you're a philanthropist level to give. You can start with wherever you are. Again, it's never the denomination. It's the intention. It's the desire. It's the energy that you put behind it. Yeah.
Love you. So there's that. This is great. Before you talked about the app that you have, that you speak to your community and so forth, where could people find the app, and how do people get involved or maybe even stay more part of your movie? I know you have a live event coming too.
Yeah. So the Redefining Wealth app is my love offering to my community. It is, I believe, a great alternative to people who are tired of being in spaces where scarcity is the dominant language. We speak from abundance. We speak with clarity. We speak about vision and joy and love and all the things that we desire. And I teach about the 6 pillars of wealth and how to activate those often. And so since December 15th, Craig, I've been in a 365-day consistency challenge. Today would be day 82 of me going live. And I went and invited them here to participate today as well, since I'm speaking later. But it's my love offering. It's a free app. It's available on your iOS and Android devices. We have a book club right now. Sahil Bloom will be with us in April. He's coming to do a discussion for us around his new book, The 5 Types of Wealth. So we do book clubs. We do empowerment panels where women in our community get together and help talk and train on different topics. It's just an incredible place. It's like an incredible, loving place. It is a space for like-hearted people. I don't believe in just being with like-minded people because that doesn't challenge or stretch you, but you want to be in a space with like-hearted. We don't have to be on the way to the same thing. We just need to have the same type of energy, and we'll get there together. So, and we also do purpose chaser meetups all over the country. So we have folks in the app who will put together something and say, hey, Boston, come out. Hey, New York, come out. And it's beautiful. So that's that. And then redefine.
Real quick, you said being around like-minded people isn't always great because they don't push you. So what's the alternative? What should we look for?
Like-hearted.
Like-hearted.
We don't have to have the same mind. We don't have to want the same things. But if we have the same type of heart and energy, we'll always be fine.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then the Redefining Wealth Live is back for my 3rd year. It'll be September 12th through 14th. You can get on the wait list right now at redefiningwealthlive.com. But here's the thing, Craig, that my soul really wanted me to do this year. I felt really led to do a really deep, intimate, high-level experience with just 44 people. So I know people are like going, oh, I want 200 people in my room. I want 300. I was like, I want to look eyeball to eyeball with fewer people and go deeper through this work for 3 days together in Buckhead, Atlanta. And we will have general admission virtual tickets that, everyone can join from anywhere in the world. But I just feel like miracles are going to happen when you are in such an intimate space. And I chose 44 because on March 15th, it's my 44th birthday. And I was like, I just want to have 44 people in the room with me doing that high level work to go through the stages of redefining wealth. And it's going to be incredible. I just know it. I feel it. Craig, I feel it already. Every day that I visualize that room, and I just did a walkthrough at the venue yesterday. Every time I'm in that space and I visualize that room, I see chains breaking. I see the energetic chains on people breaking, and I see people really taking the mask off and taking off all the layers of complexity they put on to just truly walk in their most authentic truth. And I'm really excited. So that's September 12th through 14th. And again, redefiningwealthlive.com. You can get on the wait list and check it all out. And tickets go on sale next Saturday. Well, Saturday the 15th, which is my birthday. That's when the tickets go on sale. So
beautiful. We're going to repurpose this in all the platforms. We're going to put all that stuff in the show notes. This was like a master class in so many different things. Purpose, all of it. Vision, love it. Before we hop off, maybe 30 seconds of rapid fire. I'll have a little fun. 1 or 2 word answers. Are you ready for me?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Favorite movie, Patrice?
The Notebook.
Nice. Okay. Your last meal on earth would be?
Miso cod.
That's unique.
From Nobu.
Sounds great, actually. Okay. Favorite guilty pleasure?
Love is Blind.
Fair enough. Favorite workout?
Oh, I say curls, bicep curls.
Same. No one's ever said that.
See? You my boy, Craig.
100%. Favorite book, or I know that's a tough one, maybe one that's really made an impact.
The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity.
Not familiar, but it sounds like I should be.
You'll love it. I know you'll love it.
Okay. Favorite morning ritual essential?
Meditation.
Okay. And at the end of your life, what would you like God to say to you?
Well done.
So we dropped the mic.
Yeah. Well done.
That was beautiful. Thank you for everything. Hang up for 1 second. I want to connect with you after. Patrice, thank you so much for stopping by today and dropping these priceless, juicy nuggets.
Thank you, Craig. Always.